Okay, so today we are diving into something pretty wild. Elon Musk and like all the political stuff he's been up to lately.
Yeah, it's really something. This whole thing with the $1 million giveaways.
Right. $1 million a day until the election.
It's honestly unlike anything I've ever seen before.
And it's all through his super PAC,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like just to be clear, people are getting this money just for signing a petition.
Well, there's a little more to it than that. First
Yeah.
off, you got to be a voter.
Oh, right, of course.
And not just any voter, you have to be in a swing state.
Okay, so definitely strategic there.
Absolutely. This isn't just some random act of generosity. This is calculated.
Yeah, this is Elon Musk we're talking about. Calculated's kind of his thing.
Exactly. And the thing about super PACs and why this is such a big deal, they can raise unlimited money.
Oh, right, right. From pretty much anyone, right.
Yeah, individuals, corporations, you name it, which makes them insanely powerful when it comes to elections. And we're not talking chump change here. Musk dumped a cool $75 million into this thing just last quarter.
75 million.
Million.
That,
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough to like buy a small island.
Well, or, blanket the airwaves in key states with campaign ads.
True, true. And no prizes for guessing who those ads are pushing for.
Right. This is definitely about a lot more than just liking Trump's policies or whatever. That $75 million makes Musk one of the biggest Republican donors this election.
It's a pretty clear sign of where he stands, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So back to this petition, though. First and Second Amendment stuff, right?
Yep.
Which, I mean, on the surface, sounds pretty harmless. Who doesn't love free speech and the right to bear arms?
Sure, but the way it's all framed, it's very clearly aimed at a certain type of voter.
Oh, totally. The kind of voter who might be swayed by the idea that a vote for Trump is a vote for freedom, or at least their version of it.
Right, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's all about framing.
And Musk is a master of that. Look at what he did with Twitter, I mean X.
Exactly. He knows how to craft a narrative that resonates.
And it's not just online either, right? This
Yeah.
whole petition thing.
Nope. They're going old school, too. Hundreds of people out there knocking on doors in swing states.
Wow. So they're really going all out.
Huh.
But is this even legal? Like, I'm not a legal expert or anything, but giving away $1 million, even if it's tied to a petition.
Yeah, well, there's the $1 million question, isn't it? And you're not
Yeah.
the only one wondering. Election lawyer Rick Hasen, he called it clearly illegal.
He did.
Yeah. He's arguing it's basically like paying people to vote, which is a huge no-no.
Right, right, of course.
And he's not alone. Even Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro, he's saying this whole thing raises some serious red flags.
Which, I mean, I get it. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
And it does make you wonder, where's the line?
exactly. Because at what point does encouraging people to vote become, bribing them?
Right.
And when you throw in the fact that Musk was initially offering $47 per referral to the petition.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And then just a few days before this whole $1 million thing launched, he bumped it up to $100 a pop in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about suspicious timing.
It does make you think, doesn't it?
It does. Like, maybe this isn't just about free speech or whatever. Maybe it's about something.
Yeah.
More.
Maybe.
Okay, so we've got Musk spending a ton of cash. This whole petition thing, potential legal issues. I'm starting to feel like I'm in an episode of House of Cards here.
Huh. I don't blame you.
It gets even weirder. Did you hear about the first guy who won the million? John something.
Dundrear, yeah.
Right, John Dre. So he was actually at one of Musk's rallies with Trump in Pennsylvania.
He was.
Like, what are the odds?
Pretty wild, right?
But here's the kicker. Apparently, he was more excited about meeting Elon Musk than he was about winning $1 million.
Yeah, I read that too.
Which, I mean, it's Elon Musk. I get it.
Yeah.
But still, $1 million.
Well, it kind of shows you the power Musk has, doesn't it? I mean, the guy can pull a crowd, get people fired up about his message. He can even make $1 million seem like an afterthought.
It's kind of scary when you think about it. It's
Yeah.
wild. Like, the guy's got some kind of Midas touch, but instead of gold, it's like influence.
Right.
But, okay, let's get back to this petition for a sec. What's the deal with these First and Second Amendment arguments? Like, what's he really going for here?
Well, on the surface, it seems pretty simple, right? Freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, all that good stuff.
Right, like apple pie and baseball.
Exactly. But it's all about how these ideas are being used,
Yeah.
Especially in the context of this whole super pay-C thing. There's definitely an agenda here.
Okay, so break it down for me. What kind of agenda?
Well, take the First Amendment stuff. Musk is really tapping into this whole debate about censorship, especially online, which, he's been pretty vocal about ever since he took over Twitter.
Yeah, true. X.
Right, X.
It still feels weird calling it that.
I know, right? But anyway, he's linking this idea of free speech to supporting Trump. Like, if you're worried about being censored, Trump's your guy.
So he's playing on people's fears.
In a way, yeah, because let's face it, people are already on edge about this stuff. We're more divided than ever. Nobody trusts the media. It's the perfect breeding ground for this kind of messaging.
And then you've got the Second Amendment angle, which is like a whole other can of worms.
Right. That's about appealing to a different but equally passionate group of voters, the ones who see any talk of gun control as a threat.
And to them, Trump represents
Security.
right.
Or at least the promise of it.
It's brilliant, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe not ethically, but from a purely strategic standpoint, he's figured out how to push all the right buttons to win those swing states.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, it's bigger than just Musk and Trump, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This is about the influence of money in politics, which is like
Yeah.
the oldest story in the book. But Musk's really putting it on blast,
Yeah.
It's like, how can we call ourselves a democracy when billionaires can just waltz in and buy elections?
Right, because it's not just about donating to a candidate you believe in. It's about drowning out everyone else's voices.
Exactly. The people who don't have millions of dollars lying around to throw at their favorite politician.
And it sets a scary precedent, doesn't it? Like, where does it end?
That's the million-dollar question. Or should I say the $75 million question? Because if this is the new normal, then yeah, we're in trouble.
Okay, so we can't talk about all this without mentioning the elephant, or should I say the X in the room.
You mean Trump's little promise to put Musk in charge of the government?
Yep, that's the one. Government Efficiency Commission. Sounds kind of boring until you remember who we're talking about.
Right. Like, imagine Elon Musk, the guy who sends rockets into space, trying to navigate the bureaucracy of the U.S. government. It'd be like a reality show or something.
Right. You know there'd be explosions. Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Maybe. But seriously, it's fascinating to think about. On one hand, you've got Musk, who's all about shaking things up, breaking the mold. He hates inefficiency. He wants to move fast.
And then on the other, you've got the government, which is like the opposite of all that.
Exactly. So something would have to give, right?
And let's not forget the whole conflict of interest thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the guy's got his fingers in so many pies, it's not even funny.
Space, cars, social media, AI.
And now potentially the U.S. government. It's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, it's almost too much to wrap your head around. Rockets, Teslas, and now maybe, just maybe,
Yeah.
reshaping the entire U.S. government.
It's definitely a lot. And honestly, we'd be remiss if we didn't at least touch on the ethical side of all this.
Right, like a billionaire having this much sway in a democratic system. It's,
A little icky?
yeah, a little icky feels like an understatement.
Yeah. It's a conversation we really need to be having as a society. Like, how do we balance the power of wealth with, the idea of everyone having an equal voice?
Because right now, it doesn't feel very balanced.
It doesn't. And it's not just about this election or Musk or even Trump. It's about where we go from here. What kind of future are we creating?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I don't pretend to have the answers. But I do think it's something we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. We can't just sit back and let the Elon Musks of the world decide the future for us.
Well said. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about Elon Musk's super PAC, his million-dollar giveaways, the whole petition thing.
We talked about the legal questions, the ethical dilemmas.
And of course, the big what if Musk in the White House, or at least, in charge of government efficiency.
It's been quite a ride.
It has.